Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jayme. And tonight's topic is going to be really just a gab. But we want to talk about being a witch in the workplace. So witches in the workplace. What to expect. What do we do? This is going to be a lot of personal stories because I have a lot of them, I guess. But I think it's something that comes up is like we often separate our spiritual selves from our work selves, and that can make us feel really disconnected from our practice. I know that like if I only get to be a witch for 1 hour out of the day, like that feels like it sucks. I want to be a witch all the time. So how do I balance that sort of, I would say work and witch life balance? Is that it? Instead of saying work and home life balance like they normally do?
Maybe it's witch life balance.
The witch life balance, because you never stop being your practice. You just maybe tone it down or don't talk about it in other places because it's not appropriate, and that's okay. But it's like, how do you kind of still feel
You still need it though sometimes in those situations, especially where you can't talk about it or you don't feel like you can be yourself.
Yeah.
Because people,
because people are peopling out there.
And energy and all of those things. I know for me, especially being newer to witchcraft, and it really changing how I interact with people.
Mm-hmm. And I love that for you.
And because of the decision that I made to be nicer and to be aware and stuff like that. And
I think it's awareness first. Awareness, yeah.
So for me, it really comes up a lot because that old little bitchy, resting bitch face, all that stuff that was so much a part of my life.
Your guarded self.
My guarded self.
Yeah, you don't have to be so mean, like the bitches. No, you were very guarded.
It was absolutely guarded.
Yeah,
absolutely.
protection.
Like hands off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody at arm's length. That was really how I lived my life, was keeping people at arm's length. And because I built a wall, around my heart from all the shit that I dealt with my whole life.
The heart, the soul, life, everything. Yeah,
really.
Who really
it's
knew
not, It's not even just heart. It's like soul. It's like your whole body.
Yeah,
like everything. So yeah.
And now we've broken you out. You're no longer trapped. Which is coming out party.
I'm out living loud.
Yeah,
got a pentagram.
Living lamb. I said living lamb. What is that? Living loud.
Painted on my house.
That's right. It just doesn't get louder than that usually. Like,
every time I see it, I think, I wonder how many people notice it. And I'm like, do I care? No, let them wonder.
Yeah. Listen.
One of our witch friends came over for the first time. I think we were together. She started out as my dog sitter.
Yes.
And then we realized that we had this connection. And so then we became friends. But I remember her coming over here and saying, it's like, I can really feel the protection around your space. I'm like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did some strong stuff here. Because the reason why Kat moved here, we all know the story, but she had to break ties with a very toxic person. And, that
toxic
we needed.
Toxic person, toxic place, toxic life.
Toxic walls you put up over yourself.
All the things, all the things.
So I think we're going to go through like 6 different points. This is just a fluid talking. There's not a ton of structure tonight.
Lessons? Usually we have lessons.
I know, like do this instead. What I think it is it's my own lessons and what I've done and what helps me and what I've learned. Yeah.
Which are helpful when other people hear them. It's like, I never thought about that. We do actually have something specific for very young witches, that are
very helpful information.
Coming up on 30 maybe, or haven't hit their 30th yet.
Yeah.
Something important.
Or if things changed for you when you hit your 30s.
Or if you're closer to my age range, maybe when you're approaching 60.
That's
would
true.
Be the same thing.
The second one.
The second thing that happens. So
I love it.
Big deal. Okay.
So the first kind of talking point, because I tried to do this in an order of building up to like how I handle things when I go work in places, new places especially. I love change, you guys. I've never stayed in a job very long. That's why the military worked so well for me. Every 2 years I got a new assignment. So I have changed jobs a lot, which means I've been exposed to a lot of people and politics and businesses. And I worked in like the Bible Belt for a while. And so I've had to really navigate some interesting places being my witchy self and staying true to myself, being that authentic person that I am. So the first thing is like, when you're at work, are you doing more of the hiding or are you kind of living out loud? And there's different things that come with each of them. If you've been at a place a long time and you can sort of fly your witch flag, then that's awesome. And everybody accepts you and you don't have any problems with it. That's great. But when you're hiding it, it's kind of like, wow, I really wish that I could like turn to my tool right away. There have been times when I'm at work and I want to burn sage real fast and be like, y'all and your negative shit in here. We're just going to come through here with some sage, incense, fucking rub oils on people.
I remember that I tried to burn candles at work, and this was back in Kansas City.
Before you knew you were a witch?
Pre-witchy days, but I always had these things that I didn't realize were like witch things, but I brought a candle to work, and of course, because I love the smell of candles.
And the fire's relaxing.
And the fire. Everything about a candle is soothing to me. But all the way up to the reception desk, which wasn't, was how you remember the third floor,
yes,
right? How far away my desk was from. It was a long way.
Long way.
The receptionist complained about my candle. She's like, I can smell your candle and it's bothering me. I was like,
what a crock of shit, first off. Sorry. That was a lie.
I don't know.
So
she was super sensitive and had a lot of health issues, and even though she was annoying, at one time she'd been actually really successful, and then she had all these health issues, and so I feel like it changed her, and she became really she was not well, health-wise she was not well. So
was she well mentally?
That's debatable. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah. We all have opinions about those things, I'm not asking for judgment, I guess. It's, we shouldn't judge each other, but you can tell when people are just causing a stink for no reason. They're like, do you just always have to complain?
Well, I think she was unhappy. She was married to a very huge obese man, and he didn't work. He had worked, but then he didn't work, and so the burden of everything was on her. She went off to work every day, and he did whatever he wanted, and I know how that feels, and that makes you crazy.
That'll make you crazy.
That makes you crazy. Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So, living out loud or hiding your magic at your workplace.
Yeah, like trying to be authentic.
It depends. Yeah. I've worked I haven't changed jobs. This month, May 30th, I've been at my job 30 years. Same company.
I know, you told me that the other day. My mind is blown.
I'm blown. My mind's blown too, because I just never ever thought when I went there that it would last that long. That I would
turn into what it is.
That I would want to be to be in any place that long. But as it turned out, I just kept doing this. So hey, why not? And I liked it. I like what I do. But my work is very corporate. Very corporate. Like bankers coming in, all of these, corporate. Professional people coming in.
Feeling very high profile. Everybody sees you. Everybody can see what you're doing.
And I worked for for 16 years. I worked for the president and the CFO. So I had to put on a certain face there in that environment, because that's the expectation.
That'd be hard for you now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a challenge. It would be more of a challenge. I think I would still find ways to sneak things in, though.
Yeah, probably. I think my mom was always known for being a little more outgoing or charismatic when it came to her style and dressing, and she's always been this like young, flirty kind of presentation of herself, which I really love, because even when like we take Tank for a walk, and if you're walking ahead of me, I still feel like I see a little kid walking with me, like just very young feeling. So she had that flair about her when she dressed too, and I know that has sometimes got to be hard when you're supposed to be professional, and she's like, I'm coming to work with pigtails today, and
no, I never did that. Oh
no. Never?
I do now. I show up on Teams meetings with space buns
there you go.
like whatever, nobody really cares, but I couldn't do that if I was working in that corporate office still.
So what would you do now if you had to go back and work in the corporate world that would bring your practice into it?
I think I'd probably decorate my office. I'd probably bring things in that were maybe right on the line of some, I would have crystals, absolutely. Yeah. And I would have candles and hope that nobody, and even if I couldn't burn them, at least, they're still there when everybody was around, because I would work late a lot. So I could definitely burn them at night or first thing in the morning just to get that smell,
Yeah.
And then put them out in case they bother people. But yeah, I think it would be decorating and bringing things in my space.
Yeah.
And plants. I had offices with windows, so plants would have been really great. And I wasn't that much into. In fact, at the time, before I moved here, I said I had a black thumb.
She did. Yeah.
And I don't,
you
actually.
Don't. No. Because if you go to this room that's right next to us, it is literally full of plants that are thriving. So
yeah, and I got a tree waiting to go into the ground in the backyard.
She's getting really good at this.
Just picked up from Facebook Marketplace.
Well, I think for going into the workplace, for me, it was like feeling out the people always. I didn't put a lot of stuff on my desk because I'm one of those people that wants a really clean workspace so that if I have to spread out paper or do anything, I don't want shit in my way. And then I always think about you have to dust all the things that are out. So that was not my go-to. I had things inside of my desk tucked. But my jewelry was one thing. I used color magic at work a lot. But I would see who would be receptive to my witchcraft or my witch vibe by throwing out little hints of things and saying things like, man, I really want to get a tarot reading one day, as if I haven't had 100 of them or something, you know? I would bring up these little conversations just to see how people would react and then I would read them from that. Or I would say, you know, I would wear the jewelry, and sometimes people would ask me, they're like, does that have a meaning? I was like, oh yeah, amethyst. And I would always start with amethyst. Number one, it's my birthstone, so you can always get away with that. Nobody thinks that's super witchy. So it's like, oh, if I have a crystal hanging in it's an amethyst. You're like, it's my birthstone. But yeah, I'm like, oh, well, purple, you know, I don't know if you know this, but in all cultures is associated with like the higher realm, like the godly color. And so you choose your words and sort of, you go from there. That's how I would feel people out to see like what was acceptable. And I definitely had times when I would talk about stuff and people would warn me. They're like, don't tell Jessica. Don't say anything around her. Like she will not accept this. Like you will freak her out and she'll be scared of you.
Well, some people you can tell because I can remember seeing religious symbols in people's offices or things that were clearly like,
very
you know,
Christian.
like a frame with a Christian saying on
biblical
it, you know,
stuff, yeah.
Or they would have something in their email signature that would indicate that they were, you know, very much in, you know, their church on Sunday and probably Wednesday and maybe Saturday.
And Thursday too.
Yeah, anyway, maybe 7 days a week, I don't know. But, and not that all religious people are
opposed to witchcraft.
Nope.
I think for me, one of the reasons I did that is I needed to feel out who I could be my most authentic self with and comfortable speaking about things and what they would be receptive to, and who I would just be like, if I give them a message, it's going to go unheard because they're not going to get when I say, you know, bad energy. They'll be like, what does that mean? Bad mood? What are you trying to say? So it was kind of like I had to change the way I spoke, really, so that I could, my normal verbiage was either everybody got it or some people were just like, I don't know what that means. What do you, question for the teacher? Like, what? And I think that everybody has to make that decision of when to hide your practice and when to really let it shine. Because once I got into talking to people about stuff, I had a lot of people that were mostly really interested and had a lot of questions. I remember at my very last real job that I had I quit in 2020, a girl who was raised super religious. When she heard about it, she's like, she was very bold. So, is it true that you worship the devil then? I mean, like, so candid. She didn't even know that could come across as offensive. I was like, you know, the devil only exists in your religion, not mine. So that's actually from you. And we don't, that's not a line we cross. So, but her curiosity and inquisitiveness was really fun. We actually shut my office door and she just talked to me for like 2 hours. She's like, I don't know. Like, so why are people so scared of it? Why do they make it out to be so bad? I'm like, people are afraid of things they don't understand, you know. And I had these very real conversations with her, which just eased her mind. And there was never any problems. And, you know, not that I suspected there would be, but I loved her interest because whenever you can talk about something you're passionate about, I could go on forever, which is why we have a podcast about it, right? Yes. I could talk about witchcraft forever. But it was nice to find people who were curious because as you learn and you teach other people, you learn more. And I just think that reciprocates into everybody blending together really well. Yeah. So the second one that I picked out was protecting your energy on the job. So we go from like, who knows about you or they don't know about you. Yeah, that's one decision you got to make. Now, say somebody does find out and they're just like, ugh, you know, ugh.
Or they start gossiping.
Yeah. Or, you know, they pass you over for projects because they're like, not the weird witch girl again. Don't give it to her. Or whatever. You know, the judgment from outside that don't understand. And they don't want to understand. They just want to keep you at at bay and be like, no, you can't come over here. We don't want you over here. Protecting your energy.
They frame it as weird, just a weird girl, like you said.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just things they don't understand.
Yeah.
Or they actually do think that we have relationships with a devil or a Satan or bad stuff, or we're going to curse people, or don't get on our bad side.
That's the biggest thing. It's like they're going to put a curse on me.
A spell or a curse, hex you.
Voodoo,
just funny.
Like some voodoo stuff that they've heard about or seen in a movie. That's the bigger thing.
Yeah. So when I think about protecting our energy when we're at work, the first thing is that when we have to draw ourselves away from a earth-based practice and really go into like buildings and all the electricity and the lights and all the bullshit, and just like it's draining for somebody who just wants to be in their garden every day.
Yeah.
Grounding. The way that I would protect my energy is I would make sure that I had plants either when I like taking walks while I was at work. A lot of the businesses I've worked at, they had walks. They were like, yeah, man, go do your like 20 minutes outside and take a walk, right?
I was very close to a nice area that has
Was that in Overland Park?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember out there.
Yeah, really nice wooded paths, paved paths.
Yeah. Just taking that break.
Really quick to get to, and just and you're in nature. You're covered in a canopy of trees. So it was very nice.
I would love that.
Yeah.
So getting outside is one of it. So grounding in any way that you can, whether you can do it at work or when you get off. It's like just returning to the sacred earth, I think, after doing the mundane work of like earning a paycheck and dealing with people and turning off your light, kind of, because you have to kind of, if you can't be out loud with it and you dim yourself down, that's exhausting too. Hiding who you really are is really exhausting, I find.
Yeah. I thought of something when I work from home now. And so Jayme mentioned if you walk over here into this area, I have like all these plants, right? Yeah. And that happens to be the area that I also work in.
That's her office.
So when I'm on Teams meeting, I'll get a little message from somebody who's like, I love your plants.
See? Everybody would love witchcraft if they really knew what it was about. I'm telling you, it's like nothing weird. It's all this beautiful, like appreciating nature and helping things grow and being nurturing and like looking for the good. Yeah.
Spreading love, learning
love.
to be kinder, learning to be more accepting of people and their differences. And, and just letting shit roll off your back. But also, when you do encounter people like energy vampires, and we all know those people exist in the workplace. I wish I'd known about this 30 years ago.
Yeah.
At least maybe 20. There was a period of time where there were a lot of women in my office, because we were at that time. There was a lot of accountants, and for some reason there was a lot of women. It was very heavily women in AP and accounting, which accounts payable and accounting. And women are gossipy and
catty.
And they're catty, and
all the Snickers
when I first went to work there, I actually was hired to replace a woman who was there, and of course she was friends with all the girls in the office, all the ladies in the office, and so I was like scorned basically from the day I walked in, once they figured out that I was going to replace her. And when they actually moved me into a position and moved her out, things got really uncomfortable. But of course, me with the walls, so at the time I'm like, fuck off, I don't give a fuck about you people. I'm just doing my job. I would not handle it. I would not handle that the same way today. I would probably try to, in fact, I would probably try to ease the tension that was there, because they felt like that I did something wrong, and I would probably be nicer to them. And as it was at that time, I just ignored them and was like, snotty and stuff, or not snotty, not in my words, but in my manner. I would say I was in my manner, because they were like not nice to me. So like, fuck you, bitch. It's a mean girls club. Yeah. Fuck you, bitch. I don't need your ass anyways. Like, I don't give a fuck if you like me or not. I would handle it differently today.
I love that. When you were talking, I heard the word soften their hearts. Like, I think I realized that when I became a leader. Yeah. That sometimes you were on the outs of, I would be the same age as people, but I'm in charge of them. And so they're kind of like, you're not better than me. Like, I've been in charge of people older than me. That's really bad. That's really hard. That's really bad. They don't like that at all.
Hard for people. I mean, as somebody that's older now, and all the people that are being hired, because I'm about ready to step out and into the next phase of my life,
Yeah.
And so all the people that are being hired, of course, are younger. They're like in their 40s,
Yeah.
And so I just try to just play cool with them, like I'm not trying to boss you around. I'm not trying to do anything. I try to be helpful. That's where I'm with everybody right now, is like I'm just trying to be helpful. And I always watch my tone, because I always had like that kind of stern, don't fuck with me tone. So I watched how the voice that I use, the tone that I use with people.
Yeah.
So that I don't put somebody off, which was something common that I would do.
That people told you did? Did somebody have to tell you did it, or you knew you were doing it?
Both, probably. Both. Yeah. I had one of the tenants, my bosses owned a building that they rented out, like a 3-story building with all these rentals in it. And one day my boss came and told me such and such tenant said, you're the meanest person he's ever met in his whole entire life. And I was like,
damn. Did that
I don't
hurt
even
a little
know.
bit?
I didn't even know what I did. I was like, what did I do?
Dang.
Because I had so apparently, but what I probably did, I was probably dismissive. That's probably what it was. I was dismissive, because that was a part of who I was too. Like, I don't care about you, like, you're nobody to me, so let me just get my job done and get out of here.
Yeah.
So that's probably what, and even recently there was a phone call, and the woman called and told my boss I was snappy, and so then the girls are like, Snappy Cappy.
Snappy Cappy. Cappy is a name for
That's
her
my nickname from
a long time ago.
From when I was a kid.
Yeah,
that was my
Cappy.
childhood nickname. And I personally really have to watch my tone of voice, and I have to watch how quickly I end calls with people, and how I end it, and the tone that I have to always stay up. It's a little bit of effort, but it's worth it. It's worth it, because I feel like the energy that I put out is the energy that I get back.
Yeah.
So I want to do that, know.
Because you want people to be that way with you. Like, if you're having a hard time, you want someone to be helpful.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. It's like the reciprocation thing. It's like, softening hearts is about, getting people to connect with you on some level. So it's like, so that it doesn't feel like a stranger, or you really don't want to be part of whatever's going on. It's like, no, I've learned by doing this, I've learned so much that oftentimes you will find that 6 degrees of connection.
Yes.
Or whatever they say.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Of Kevin Bacon. I wanted to say that so bad. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Well, I just have to...
Where there's a commonality.
You've
almost every fucking time.
been nice, though.
Thank you.
You've always been
No, I've always
sweet.
been patient.
And that comes across as nice.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've always been impatient. And so, but my daughter has always been patient with people. And so, and that really, the energy that takes. Of course, for her, it comes very naturally. It's just who she is.
Yeah.
She would probably find it difficult to be more impatient like her mother, can be.
I couldn't actually. That would be, I wouldn't even know where to start. I would feel like I'm doing a bit or a role, like, what do you need? Are you done? Okay, are we done? Did you get it?
Even the look on your face there, your like eyes are sparkly, and you're smiling. And stuff.
I don't know how to do it.
She has a hard time being mean, but that's, I think that's part of her, it's part of her makeup, it's part of her Pisces characteristics, and just, kind of who she was. She's just sweet. She's patient and sweet and kind, and
well, because of that, I had to do a lot of shielding, because I am patient and kind and sweet. One of my energy practices at work to like guard my energy is knowing how to shield when I know I'm going to come up against people or a situation or something uncomfortable. Like, I have to focus and then be like, all right, Jayme, bring all your energy right to the front. And then I imagine like a ball of light sometimes. Sometimes it looks like actual metal that I can see through. Like, at different times it's called for me to envision different things, but the bubble of light that I've done for so long in my life.
You've told me about that since I first came here. We talked about that a lot on the meetups.
Yeah.
We talked about that bubble of light, the shielding. Yeah.
Shielding because I I feel so much, and sometimes that is draining, right? Like that drains your energy to feel so much.
And also, you use that when you're doing spell work instead of doing a circle. So
instead
that's
of,
another
an
thing.
actual like circle.
So that's another thing that you do is imagine this like protective energy around you, this ball of light around you.
So I've grown that into being helpful for spells, and yes, protecting myself from like negative situations or negative people, or when I'm feeling very fearful. I've been in war zones and stuff, and I've had to still do my job and take care of things and move forward and say, like, if I'm fearful, I'm going to skip things. I'm not going to, I'm not going to be as aware. You want all your awareness right there. So it's really good to focus your energy into that shield so that it's almost like your aura or your energy bubble is out away from you. And so things that are happening, they hit that bubble first before it can really hit you. And I feel like it makes me more aware of what's going on. But it makes me aware not in my heart. It makes me more aware in my head, or like the overview of the picture. So I don't take it emotionally when things are happening. I'm just observing it, not absorbing it. And I didn't have those words back then, but that's what it was really about. Mm. I still have to go through a bad situation, whether it's like a bad review or, I don't know, walking into a room full of girls that are
firing
not nice.
Have you ever had to fire anyone as a leader?
No, I've just had to tell them that they're pieces of shits.
Oh.
Yeah.
You didn't say it like that,
No. I mean, maybe once or twice. But that's because they came to work drunk, and I was like, this was in the Navy.
Yeah.
That's not an uncommon... Well, that sounds bad.
So shielding can help with those energy vampires.
Yeah.
I can think of times of being in my office with certain people who really annoyed me. They were just kind of... they were loud. I can think of one guy that would talk on his speakerphone. I was like 4 offices down from him. Oof. And every time he was on the phone, he would have it on speaker, and he was loud already. And you could hear him like way down the hallway, and it was like...
He was more disturbing than your candle.
Yeah, that was years later after that receptionist was gone and there was no candles. But yeah, he was... but people like that who annoy either not just people who suck energy, but they suck air out of the space. They take air out of the room. They're like hogging all the attention is on them because of something that they that they do, some habit that they have, or where I feel like it's inconsiderate behaviors in an office, like being super loud on the phone, talking really loud, and having everybody overhear your conversation.
Yeah.
I know that we got my boss, who I worked right next to, he got us moved down to the next floor because he's like, I got to have quiet to think, So when space opened up on the second floor, he's like, we're getting that space. Marketing is moving down there. And we did. And it was really nice because it was just us.
There you go.
We got away from everybody, which is kind of cool. But sometimes you can't do that. And you got to work next to people. And they're either obnoxious or they are... energy vampires, or the next one, office politics.
That's dealing with office politics is, I think, part of either, staying true to ourselves and not getting involved in that game, because that's the human game that we dive into when we have to go to work and do all the regular things. It's like the part of the human game that I end up playing the most of is being annoyed in traffic. Like that's my worst part of... That's my most unevolved part of myself, is when you put me in a car, I lose all of my patience, kindness, witchiness, everything. I'm ready to go to battle, and I don't know why. It's my weakness. So it's like something I know that I continually have to work on, and I will purposely put myself behind slow cars and be like, do not change lanes, Jayme. Just deal with it. Just deal with the fact that they're slow and in your fucking way right now. Just deal with it. And that's how I sort of try to build resilience to... being in uncomfortable situations. I don't know my urge to get around cars like that. I don't know where it comes from, I have fears of being in car accidents, so I think that it's really my rush to get off the road. I just want to get where I'm going and be done with driving. But rushing will cause accidents. So like I'm really not helping myself with that. So at work, it's the same thing, dealing with the politics of it. If you get yourself wrapped up in gossiping and, and the hearsay and I don't know.
Yeah, the talk around. Yeah, the kind of like clickiness that can go on. The little clicks that happen, in offices. I've also had to learn some hard lessons about becoming friends with people and getting personal and letting them into my personal life over my years and working in an office. It's like, ugh, once you cross that line of telling people your personal business and you don't really know them, you're a work friend, but then the next thing you know, you're talking about, oh, this happened with my husband last night, or whatever, I'm having a problem with my kid, or I mean, I've had personal things like that get out after that relationship fell apart. So I kind of learned not to get involved with people, to be careful, to be more choosy, I think, about the people that I did befriend in an office, because that's your livelihood, so you want to keep that kind of clean,
yes,
if you will.
I've definitely done that, where I wasn't the boss of people, but in the big group when we went to Afghanistan, there were 56 of us, and there were only 3 females for this group that were going over to do our particular job. And they split us into 2 groups, and there were only 3 females. One of us was going to be alone, right? They could have put all 3 of us together, but they didn't do that. They put 2 girls on day shift, and then I was on night shift. So I was with all of these other guys, so I would get singled out more to do stuff. Well, they thought by singling me out and pushing me to do all these other jobs, it was going to be sort of like, haha, look, we're making you do all the extra stuff. I got chosen for a leadership position at the main base. And then it turned, and I had made friends with all these people, right? Like, I laughed about it. I was like, oh, you think it's tough for me? Like, I don't care. It's like, we're all going to do this job anyway. So you want to put me up first? Fine. I'll go through the simulation first. I don't care. So they would do this, and it felt like, maybe big brother's picking on you. But we would all hang out together. We would go to karaoke. We would drink together. Like, we were all stuck in a shitty little place for like 6 months training for our job. But when we got to Afghanistan, it was like, because I had done so much extra, they selected me to stay at the main base and actually do all the reporting for all the other bases. So all the guys got sent off. And that friendship turned bitter real fast. And everybody was like, you're sleeping with management. I'm like, the fuck? You guys put me in this position by making me do everything all the time and always selecting me and putting me up. You thought it was funny because I'm the only girl in the group. And so, like, I thought I was going over there with 25 friends, and really I wasn't, and that felt... I don't know what it felt. I was angry. I was like,
it's insulting. It's insulting. Yeah, it's insulting to have somebody imply or straight out say that that's how you got ahead, is sleeping with the boss or doing something shady like that. It's like, especially as a woman, it's like, oof.
Yeah, like they put me up for all this stuff, kind of messing with me, and laughed about it. And I laughed too, because I was just like, all in good fun, man. We're all going over there. Any of us could die, like, not that serious. But when we got over there and then things changed and they didn't like the outcome, then they all turned on me and said really nasty things about me. And it was like, wow, I thought we were friends. We trained for 6 months together. You get very close when you see people every single day for 6 months. You're in the same living quarters, like you travel to and from your work simulation thing together every day. You're going out every single night. They felt like brothers, and that was not real. And so, like, how long do you know somebody before you can really give them your whole story?
Before you can really
or trust them or whatever. Them. So I understand
there's
your walls.
There's a line, that you have to be aware of, and also just sort of. I don't know. I'm not saying I have answers. I just know that these situations happen. It's like, what can we do after that? So clearing rituals. One of the things I used to do, and this started, like I said, before I knew I was a witch or much of anything about witchcraft, really. But I've always been drawn to tarot and astrology. Tarot more so, because right now I'm studying astrology. Before, I just had these like basic books, like, here's your sun sign, and here's the sun sign that matches you. And now I know astrology is so much more than sun. Like, sun sign almost doesn't even matter. It's like not even who you are. That's not who you show to the world.
That's not your whole personality.
It's not who you put out in the world. It's your rising sign that's actually the world sees.
Right.
Your sun sign is who you are, kind of like in private. But anyway, I would draw tarot cards and a tarot card in the morning, and then I also had like an oracle deck or angel message. It might have been an angel deck that I would draw from to just kind of get my day going. Like to set the mood for the day, and I would just spend that time, with myself before I went to work, do that little ritual, and then off to work I would go.
for my hard situations, I would draw the card after something went down. I was like, what do I need to learn from this? Like, what's the skill I'm building? And so I would ask the card to tell me, how is this situation supposed to help me grow? Because I always make it about growth. Like, the hard stuff is opportunities for growth. And so I'm like, what am I supposed to learn from this shit?
That's
like,
I think that's a really good practice. For me, I used it as guidance. But again, I didn't, you know, I was unevolved, very much unevolved at that time. Yeah. And I would have used the tools that I know about today much differently. And my life probably would have been quite a bit different, different outcomes and things like that. But as it turned out, this is...
You needed all those lessons to get to here.
Yeah, it happened the way it happened, and I ended up here, which is where I feel like I was. I never wanted to move to Florida. The girls had been here for years, and for like, you should move to Florida. I'm like, why?
Yeah, like,
you know, hell,
why do you like it here?
Like, it's so hot and it's so crowded. It's like, absolutely not. And I never imagined leaving my job, which I thought that would involve leaving my job if I was to move to Florida. But just because I didn't really like it. When I visited, I was like, oh God, there's so many people. Oh my God, it's so hot. It's so crowded here. Like, you know, why do you
Which always came during the busy seasons.
Yeah. So, all right, rituals were on before and after work.
Yeah. Well... Oh, is that you want me to talk about that one?
No,
I was going to go to the next one.
No, we can go on to sacred tools because this was going to be short, and I'm looking at it, we're like already at 30 minutes. Does that say 36 minutes?
Yeah.
We better, we talked for almost 2 hours last one, so we're going to try to get through this.
That was a big one. Listen, it was a big one.
It was a big one.
And just so you know, we did mommy issues. Daddy issues is coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to do that.
Daddy issues is for Father's Day. Is that next week?
No, it's in June sometime.
Well, June is like almost next week.
Oh, yeah. Listen, time's not real for me anymore.
Somebody said, oh, have a nice holiday. And I was like, what?
What holiday?
What holiday? And they're like,
Memorial Day?
It's Memorial Day. I was like, I had to look at the calendar like, oh my God.
I just realized
I didn't even realize it. Yeah. What? Are you kidding me?
I was trying to make appointments on Monday. And this nurse and I are going back and forth. And then I finally pull up my calendar to like write it. And I was like, do you work on Memorial Day? She goes, no. I was like, yeah, Monday's Memorial Day. She's like, oh my God, my whole schedule has to change.
I remember my grandson telling me, because my little grandson that's staying here with me right now, he's like, no school on Monday and then only half a day. And I was like, oh, no school on Monday? It didn't even click. Like, why is there no? First thing that came to my mind was teacher in-service day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't even putting it all together.
It's not a snow day makeup thing, you know.
I wasn't even putting it all together the time of year that it is. That's how crazy our life has been recently.
So nuts.
With all the stuff that's been going on with Cam. But we can update really quick when we get to the end of this. We'll tell you guys what's going on with Cameron if you want to you want to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
next.
So the sacred tools part. So now we've gone through like, do you live out loud at your job? You know, how do you protect your energy on the job once you do? Now it's like, what tools are you bringing to the job? And I already said this, but I really didn't have anything out on my desk. I wore my jewelry and I had my colors. Like I dressed for work appropriately. So it wasn't really at my station. It was more like wherever I was, my magic was. But I kept things in my desk. And I think the biggest thing that people don't understand about altars when you think about a witchy altar is like it could be anything. It could be pictures of your family and a little red heart and like a purple face. Like the way that we build altars, it could be anything and everything, and keeping stuff that's really meaningful for you so that when you look at it, like it reinvigorates your energy and like makes you feel good and you're like, oh, like maybe it's your favorite vacation picture of you and your family or just whatever. And yeah, if you have crystals and candles and incense and pentagrams and your tarot deck gets to sit out on your desk, fucking yes, I love that. I would do that now. If I had to go back to another job, I'd be like, this is my religion and I have a right to practice and you can kiss my ass. I work from home, so I basically
would never
do that
say
now.
that, but
no. Not in those words, but I would say that like pleasantly with a smile and like very, very kindly. Yeah. But I think that's what you can choose to bring in things that really scream like witch. I don't really have any jewelry that's pentagrams because I don't like people making assumptions and I don't really need the awkward glances or whatever. But at my desk, I mean, I might put on I do this a lot at my house, you guys. If you were to come over to my house and like lift up things underneath of a lot of stuff, it's like drawn sigils or protection things, or, you know, a motto for the space that I want to like bring in there. And that's what I would do at my desk now. I would definitely like write things and put it under my keyboard, or, you know
what I would do? I would have feng shui my office.
Okay, well, feng shui, I believe feng shui is witchcraft. Like, I use it in my practice, but yes, feng shui was always a big thing. Yeah. And that's color and flow.
Yeah, color and flow, and then things, you know, I mean, you could feng shui a really small area because, you know, you just look at like,
you know, your directions,
you know your directions,
Easy.
What's the center. But also, like, the other thing I thought about as you were talking is people, when you go into their office and they've got like a whole little corner set up with all this stuff, and it's like,
that's an altar.
That's an altar.
Mm-hmm. I think of that everywhere I go, where people have little collections of things that they like. I'm like, that's a little altar. Yeah, like, they don't know that, but it feels good for people to see all their little items that they really love or that bring good memories. You know what I thought about? It
brings a feeling.
Yeah, it brings a feeling.
Yeah.
I thought about the people who collect like Disney ears. I don't know if they have another name, but you know, like the Disney ears that people got, they buy them because we have some family members that are big Disney people.
Yeah.
And then they make a wall for their Disney ears. I was like, yeah, that is your altar for Disney.
I've never seen a wall of Disney ears.
Oh my gosh.
No.
I guess I've seen it because I had several people at my last job that were huge into Disney, and I've got a family member now that's like, they're Disney people. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
And you would never know it outwardly. You would never know it. But if you go to their house, they have a whole wall of ears, like every color. There's different holidays. I didn't know it went like that. Like, I didn't know how big that was. But yeah, that's an altar. Yeah. So that's just like bringing your sacred tools into your workspace so that you can grab them. I mean, you know what we did in the military was, I mean, there weren't bracelets really that much, so you could get them in Thailand and stuff, but wearing bracelets is really not good on a ship. It snag on anything. We stuck crystals in our bra. I'm sure people still do that today. I haven't done that in so long, but that was a huge thing we did, was like the little tumbled stones.
Yeah.
Right into the bra. Mm-hmm. Yep, the girls' pockets.
The girls, I mean, the tumbled stones are great for putting in your pockets, carrying in your purse, putting in your car, you know, anywhere you want to feel that. And you could even make a little...
Remember it, yeah.
Yeah, you could even make a little design of them on your desk if you wanted to.
There you go. Yeah. So the next one up that I chose, because now we've gone through like our personal spaces, now it's dealing with like the witch wound and authority. They kind of go hand in hand, because being told what to do is not something that we all necessarily like. When we are so sure of ourselves and we know what we want, it's like somebody else trying to tell us how to do things and live our life and be away or whatever. That can start to feel like, yeah, don't try to suppress me. Yeah.
Well, I was born a rebel. If it's in my chart, I know this now. Like, oh, that's why you buck authority. That's why you've always like, yeah. That's why I could never go in the military, because I couldn't have handled people telling me what to do like that. It's hard, but
because when you get leaders, sometimes they want you to be like, they want everybody to be the same. Be easy. Don't be loud. You know, don't cause trouble. Don't ask too many questions. Definitely don't ask me why we're doing something.
Yeah.
You know, and I've experienced that
little
before.
Robots.
Yeah,
little robots.
They want yes people
that don't think for themselves.
Yeah.
I've worked with people like that. I've had bosses like that.
Yeah, and not every boss or leadership role is like that. I think that you can flip that and say, what kind of leader would you be? Would you try to be empathetic towards people? Would you try to get to know their story, how they work, what works best for them? Know that they have days where it's like, listen, I'm going to be here physically. I'm going to do as much as I can, but I am literally checked out today. Could you handle hearing that from one of your employees? And then how would you treat them? You know, it's like work has taught us to be the robots, to just do the job. And, you know, it's the whole like Taylorism and the fucking... What's the
industrial?
The industrial revolution. Yeah. So just that everybody's taught to do one small part of a job. Yeah. Leadership is still trained in that way.
Cogs on a wheel.
Yeah, leadership is still trained in that way, where it's like, you know, just get people to do the one job right, and then that's good leadership. Just ensure that one job is done right. And it's like, that's not actually it. when I was working for the last company I was with, we were teaching that leadership is more about your people are what get the job done. Like, you need to be there for them. Do you need help with something? What, like, tell me what you see. What's the problem that's going on here? Explain things. You're asking them questions. Like, you need to know more about problems, not shut them down and be like, no, I don't need your solutions. I'll decide what we're doing. Even though I don't do the job, I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do because I think that's best. So there can be a disparity between somebody who has the authority to tell you what to do and really actually knowing the right thing to do. And that can get hard. That gets really difficult.
Boy, I can think of so many situations where I would have handled things differently if I'd had the knowledge and skills and some of the things I've learned over the last 6 years, where I would have handled things differently. And it would have made it better for everyone. And it might have even been opportunity for certain people to learn too. Yeah. Along the way. So
we have this thing with authority. I think a lot of people run into it, and it could be with. It's not always at your job, and I know this is more about witches in the workplace, but I did have this experience at the hospital recently with Cameron's surgeon, which was just really mind-blowing for me. She was really difficult to talk to, and she didn't talk a lot. She's a very quiet woman. And when I was trying to ask her questions, she didn't really want to give me answers. She was just like, we're going to handle it day by day. And I'm like, yeah. So when she really was shutting down everything I was saying, I was like, what questions am I not asking? Like, tell me what I should be asking. What do I not know? Like, I've looked stuff up online, but I'm trying to get information from you so that I feel better. Like, what else should I know? I was trying to get information out of her, and she just goes, just she's shrugging her shoulders, just shaking her head, closed her eyes really slowly at me, like, I got nothing more for you. So for me, that was the first time meeting her, and this was right after Cameron's surgery went like 4 hours, and I was the last one in the surgery recovery waiting room. Like, it was the longest day of my life. Like, even the receptionist and everybody was already gone because his surgery went so long. And I was expecting her to come out and just have all this information for me. Here's what we did. Here's everything that happened. Here, everything went well. It didn't go well. She didn't give me any of that. She was just kind of like...
Not like you see on TV.
Not like the doctor Grey's Anatomy. You lied to me, okay? I wanted Grey's Anatomy. That's what I needed. I needed her. But... So the next time I talked to her, and I told my family about this experience, I was just like, wow, man. And I really just let myself be shut down because she's an authority figure over me in my mind, right? She's a surgeon. She knows, like, there's this...
Don't question authorities. Certain authorities we're taught not to question. We're kind of, it's ingrained in us. Doctors.
Yeah. Like police officers. Yeah, there's just... managers at places, when a manager is like, that's it, final answer, you're like, yeah. Well, this is where the Karen thing comes from, right? Like, I want to see your manager. Like, the person telling me no, I don't trust you anymore. Now I want the manager. Now the manager needs to tell me no. Now I want to see the fucking owner. Where's the shareholders at now? Like, you just want to keep going up and up and up because you're like not satisfied with the answer. Well, my situation came, I only talked to her 3 different times, but the last time that she had to call me, she was so pissed because I was like, I'm not stopping asking questions. You're not going to keep avoiding me. And so I went to the hospital every day and I was like, I want to see Cameron's doctor. I want to know. I got questions, because nobody had told us what was going on for his recovery. And when she called me, she was so feisty. She was like, yes, what? Yes. And there was just this whole thing. And her words at some points were like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That was her tone with me, and I'm like, you are really upset that I am making you call me right now to talk to me. And it's like, I'm not taking this silent treatment. I'm not taking this no. Yeah. Like, I'm not taking the I don't know from all the nurses. I'm like, no, call the team then. I have questions. You guys should be able to tell me these things. And I kept having to reaffirm to myself, like, I deserve to have answers. I can ask these questions. This is my child. Like, he's having a surgery. You're supposed to talk to people about this.
It was serious.
But that was hard to do.
It wasn't like it was a tonsillectomy. Is that what they're called when they take tonsillectomy?
I have.
It wasn't small. It wasn't a small thing. He's been sick for a long time. Since this shit's been going on 6 weeks or more. Yeah. And and then you're just gonna brush her off.
Brush me off. Not give me any answers. Not tell me what to expect.
Really unacceptable behaviors. Like bad bedside manner. Yeah. You could at least have some empathy for the mother and the patient and their...
Because even Cameron wasn't getting answers. And he was accepting that because he's 19, right? So he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever they tell me. Like, I don't know. I was like, you shouldn't say I don't know. Like, the people who are in charge of this should give you the answers. So that's the authority thing. That was way...
Yeah, bigger than
It's
just
bigger
the
than
workplace.
just the
But it's an
workplace.
example. I mean, imagine if you were a nurse or a doctor and worked under that surgeon,
Yeah.
and she was dismissive like that, and you're trying to do your job, and you've got this, person of authority over you, this surgeon.
Yeah.
And then her treating you like that. I was like, is that how she treats other people that she works with?
Her
Because that
team,
would be
right.
like really, really, really difficult to work with someone like that.
I just thought of like in the book that I helped write, the thing that I did the most of is I researched the Alfaro, the ship that basically drove right into the hurricane path.
Yeah.
And this was about team and language and how they really didn't like, there was a whole crew that could have taken command of the ship and drove the ship away from the hurricane, and like all of just the captain just being like, yeah, all right, don't worry about it, and the whole crew, like one of the ladies, this is all in the book if you guys ever want to read the story, but you can read the story like lots of places. It's the Alfaro. It sank here right off the coast of Florida in a hurricane. The one girl that was part of the crew, she knew. She called her mom and was like, tell everybody I love them. Like, she knew she was not going to make it out of this. And they still did their jobs the way the captain said to do it. And it's like, how does that happen? How do you allow your leader to drive you straight into a situation that causes everybody's death,
Yeah.
Like, just crazy. That would be a good example of like in the workplace of speaking up. And
absolutely.
I mean, I don't know, I might have really like if I never work again on a ship, is it worth it? I guess that's like, what are you weighing by speaking up and doing the right thing? Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I love when we get off topic just a little bit. It's always so great. Since you and I both work, like I work for myself and you work from home. So we don't have bosses right now. We have made it out of that world, thank God.
I actually have a really good boss, and newer to the company, probably 18 months.
Yeah.
And he's very much about the team. I mean, you can just tell everything he does is like, I just want the team, it's like, I really, really like him. I really like him a lot.
They're so rare to find.
And he's hired somebody, because he had like 20 people reporting to him. He's like, I just can't. So they promoted someone to be over marketing, so that he's above marketing, so he's over all the commercial. But so now I just got informed, or he just let me know that marketing's going to have a new boss, a new VP of sales and marketing. And I don't know. I had one interaction with this man when we first hired him. It wasn't that great, but he was just really short. So I'm not going to let that. But Matt is telling me, he's like, you can call me anytime. I just spoke to him today. He's like, you can call anytime. He said, when you're interviewing someone and you're trying to find the right person for the team, you don't know. They have you can talk to them, but you never know until they get in there.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, I always want you to feel like you can let me know, just touch base if anything, is going on, or you just want to talk or whatever. So I really like him, because he really is about helping his team be better team members, work together, communicate, cooperate, all those things. We have core values, and he wants, he's living them.
Right.
He's living them in the boss. And I think it's kind of rare in all of my years of experience, because I've been working in a corporate environment since 1990. That's when I first started working for like an attorney. And, those kind of bosses are rare. They really are. At least my experience has been.
It's rare.
That they're rare.
It's rare.
So
I've had lots and lots and lots of jobs. That's rare. Yeah. It's very rare.
So I'm just going to throw one thing out, especially if you're a younger witch. Like, don't stay somewhere where you're unhappy, and leave.
People have power over you, and like they use it in a bad way.
Yeah, and you're just like, I hate this fucking job.
Else, yeah.
There's other jobs out there. Find yourself another job. Don't stay somewhere where you're being diminished in any kind of way. That's an indication for you to get out.
Yeah,
and
to go
move on. The universe is telling you this isn't the place for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when I've been in places, leaving was always really easy, because I realized either I was like, I don't belong here, or I can't grow here.
Yeah.
It's like everything is difficult, and you can't really get ahead, or there's nowhere to go. It's like, so I'm going to have this same job for 20 years? Like, there's no growth? Like, I don't think that's going to work for me. So
speaking of get another job, we're moving on to career transitions and spiritual callings.
That's right. Your spiritual callings to do something else. And I've met so many witches that they're doing the job because they're like, I need the paycheck. I need to be able to live. Yes,
yeah,
we do.
absolutely.
We all need the money to get the things to afford to live, to stay in a house, to keep our family warm and fed. Like,
especially when you have children, it becomes really, it's not just about you anymore. Yeah. So yeah, it's
well, and if you have cats, they gotta have a home too, and they need things.
Or dogs.
Okay? Or dogs.
And your plants.
The cat witch, the dog witch. Yes.
And the plant witches.
And the plant witches. Like, you gotta have money for plants. You got to. But I think that, like, you have to find a place where you're going to feel more fulfilled. That is more important than money in some places. But I tried to always chase the next thing that was going to grow me. And it was always a little different than the thing I was doing before. It was like I had just enough qualifications to get in the door, and then from there it was like, boom, take off,
Same thing here.
That's how all my stepping stones have kind of went. And I've taken a lot of risk, and I've put myself out there so many times, and I have been rejected so many times. My name still is kind of, what's the word, ambiguous, when it's like you can't tell male or female?
I don't know what that's called.
Well, if my resume, you would not know if I was male or female because of the way that everything is spelled. They're like, oh, it could be a boy, could be a girl, we don't know. And so when I walk into the hiring room, they're like, oh, you're Jayme? I was like, mm-hmm. I was like, already? I was like, oh, they wanted a man. I was like, God damn it. So I had to face that a lot of times because I was in the IT world. So I was in like the tech world. And that's very predominantly men. Yeah, very, nerdy bro. Yeah, yep.
Geeks.
I first off, I fit in with that. I'm very nerdy and geeky, but I'm also feminine. And they're like, we don't think you would fit in with the team very well. I'm like, okay. Where was I going with that?
I don't know. We were
it was about spiritual callings. All the doors that said no, all the doors. Because I tried for like a year to get into places, and I'm highly qualified. And people kept telling me, you're overqualified. Like, that's the worst thing to hear. I was like, okay, so you're getting some freebies then. I'm overqualified for the job. Great, I'll take it. Like, you know why? It kept pushing me to something else that I couldn't see coming. And that was, I went back to college at like 33. And that was really hard for me to do. I was scared. I was like, I'd rather have a job than go to college and not know what was going to happen, But the more that I just listened to the universe and all the door slams and everything, is like it led me to a place where I was supposed to be. And for that, I'm very grateful. But you do have to listen, because I didn't listen for like a year. I just struggled. I struggled and struggled and struggled. I ended up, you want to know the last job where I was like, fuck this? Because I bartended before, but then, you guys, I bartended in a strip club. That is different. That is very different than normal bartending. Bartending in a strip club, that is a world that I don't even know how to describe. The stories there, it's just like, oh my God, I did not know all the things. Yeah. So listen to the universe. Don't keep putting yourself in these bad situations, because that's how I let mine go down. It was like normal bartending at a place that wasn't very busy, then like bartending at a strip club. That's when I said no. I was like, I'm done. I don't deserve to be here. I need to do something else. And I decided to go to college.
So the other thing about this transition that Jayme's talking about is, if you've ever heard of Saturn return, so about every 27, Saturn is what, 27?
It can be 27 to 31.
27, yeah. So Saturn returns to the exact place where it was when you were born. Sometime between age 27 to 31. And about this time, so if you're younger than that, about this time you're going to feel a pull. I was almost 30 when I woke up one day and I was like, wow, man, I really need to get my shit together, because I knew that my husband and I, Jayme's dad, we'd tried and we weren't going to make it. And so I knew now it was me and 3 kids, and I was going to have to get my shit together. And so I remember waking up and going like, I got to do something. I can't just be like a maid, because I used to work these like part-time jobs and be a cashier or a maid or a waitress or some shit like that. That's not going to pay the bills. So at about 29, like 6 months before my 30th birthday, I was going into a grocery store, and somebody's like, hey, would you like to sign up and go to this school? And I was like, Yeah, actually, yeah. So I did. So I went to like this like training for like admin, office stuff, and I'm really good at that. And got my skills up, and then had a job by that fall, and was working for a lawyer.
Yeah.
So but around 30, and then it's going to happen again around 60, somewhere around 60, which, as it happens, was about the time that I moved from Kansas City here. So big changes are going to happen around those Saturn returns, and you can find out when you can get on Astro Cafe, look up your chart, see exactly when it is, but you don't even need to look it up because you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
You're going to know because you're going to become dissatisfied or in some kind of way feeling a need to change something big in your life, like a big change. You're going to want to make a big change around those times.
A lot of times it is moving or a career move, or it's something that's pulling you to a different path. It's like getting you to go to your next level, your next step. Mm-hmm. Mine took a little longer because my dad passed right in that time frame, so I didn't allow myself to grow or change. Like, I knew I was stuck, but I hadn't healed from it. I kind of was like, I'm not going to deal with this. And so it was when I finally started dealing with my dad passing that everything started to move really fast for me. Because I sat in South Carolina and did nothing for a year, after I got back from Afghanistan. So you can still do it even if you're past that and you didn't have your big change. Like, start listening to what's out there, because it took me a little longer than normal. Like I said, I got all the way down to working. I was 32 working at that fucking bartending at a strip club. That was my low.
Yeah, I also think that when things start falling apart, like why is everything going wrong? Yeah, that is the universe trying to push you in another direction. They're trying to get you out of where you are, whatever situation you're in. And you're trying to force it. The universe is like, no, I don't think so. This is not where you belong. So
you're trying to take every other path, and they're like, there's one open door, and that's it. You're going to have to walk through, and you're like, but I don't want to.
And a lot of times the choice that you have, the choice that you're faced with is scary because you're like you going back to school.
Yeah, it's a huge change, and you're like, oh my God, am I ready for that?
Or like me thinking about actually having a job where I could support 3 children.
Yeah.
Like what the hell does that look like?
Yeah.
How am I ever going to do this?
I
had to start somewhere though.
Yeah.
And I started with that and I think I only made like $7 an hour when I worked. This was 88, 87.
This was in Kansas?
No, it was
in California?
It was in Palm Springs.
Oh, okay.
When we lived in Desert Hot Springs. Yeah, so, but my other jobs had been probably closer to minimum wage, like $5.25 there was a lot of spa resorts in the Palm Springs area, and so I'd work as a maid, which was minimum wage, but hey, $7 seemed like a lot of money, and it probably was because rent was probably $3.50 back then a month.
Our coffees at Starbucks are like $7.
I know. I finally quit going every morning and getting coffee. I started buying this stuff from the stores, like
making it at home. So much better. Yeah. It's good in a crunch, but when you kind of consider how much it changes over time and how you're in disbelief when it's happening, but then when you look back, you're like, oh, that really wasn't that bad, or that actually was easier than I thought. They want you to take that hard step into the next thing. It's supposed to feel difficult and scary, and that's how you get stronger. And a little bit
unknown,
Definitely,
too. Like you're not really sure if this is going to work out, but you'll know because
things will fall in place.
Yeah, well, and when everything's just like, everything's fucked, you're just, everything's going to shit, and nothing's working as much as you try to make stuff work. It's just not happening. That's the universe trying to guide you to something else. So just be aware of that and start opening your eyes to possibilities, I guess would be the thing to say about that. Because sometimes you don't know where you're supposed to go. Sometimes you have to figure it out and try different things.
And I hear a lot of people that, I've asked Cameron a ton, if you could do anything and it wasn't about money, like what would you do? Because I'm trying to teach him, like, go for a passion and you can build the paycheck later. But if you go to an area that you really like, then you can sort of figure out, like, where is this financially beneficial for me? Or is it, and even if it's just enough to survive, because this kid does not have, like, he doesn't want to be rich and whatever. He's like, I just want a little house, and, like, he wants to be a minimalist.
Some people just want a simple life.
Yes, and that's more him. And it's
that's
like,
okay.
You don't have to think about making a crazy amount of money. And he feels this pressure, this outside pressure from it. And I'm like, honey, you don't have to think that. It doesn't have to be that big, So take the leap. Change the job.
Leap of faith.
Yes.
Yep, the universe has your back.
Absolutely. So our last one would be using magic when you're in the leadership position. And I touched on this a little bit earlier for me, but a lot of my stories, because you guys know I went into the Navy right at 18, right out of high school. So I got put in a leadership position about a year and a half later, and I loved it. I was very good at being a leader because I can read people really well, but that is not all my skills. Like, I used numerology on people. I would find out their birthdays and find out their numbers and be like, so here's some of their strengths and weaknesses. And I would do this in my head secretly. I'm not telling them all of it. But, as I built friendships and people got to know me, and it's like, I would get put in charge of the difficult people. Like, I was always in charge of the misfits, always taking the shift that nobody wanted. And yet it would run so smoothly with me. And they're like, how do you do it? What are you doing? I'm like, you got to meet people where they're at. It's like, but I couldn't tell them, well, use numerology, figure out their birthday first. Okay, then look at their zodiac sign. And then once you do that, you can get kind of a picture of how these people like to operate and what jobs they might want to do and what to entice
Strengths
them
and
with.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so,
what might be their drivers.
Yes. So I would do things like, and I would not do it in the normal leadership way, because I had one kid who was just never going to be a morning person. It didn't matter what you did. He's not going to be a morning person. He's not awake enough. It takes him like 4 hours to wake up. I am now with somebody who's like that. When my husband wakes up, he needs like 2 to 3 hours of a morning routine to really get going in the morning. I'm like, I'm a hop out of bed and go for a run kind of person. I like wake up half asleep and start doing shit. That's just what I do. Like, that's how I roll. He's like, roll over, lay in bed for an hour. I'm just laying there like, are we getting up yet? Like, is the morning going? So I just learned that with certain people, I'm like, you know what? Why don't you come in an hour late? But then I'm going to have you do this other thing. And they fucking loved it. And they performed great for me. It was like, you're going to let me come in an hour late? Like, nobody ever offered me that before. So they feel heard, appreciated, understood, and then they work better with it. So I used a lot of my witchy knowledge in leadership with people, and definitely talking to them and finding out, like, just listening to people's stories is part of it, gathering the information and letting them be heard. I mean, for once in their life, it's like, somebody actually wants to know about me. And when you build a connection with people energetically like that, then when you ask them to do something, and it's not like, we're not mixing friendship here, but we're mixing like, what's your real life story? What's your struggle right now? Maybe I know one guy, he got deployed right after his grandma died, and then they weren't able to get the Red Cross message in, so he didn't get back in time, and like, he missed all of this. And so he was pissed that nobody helped him. And I just kept asking him, I was like, well, what can we do now? What can happen now? He's like, I want to go on leave sooner than I'm supposed to. I was like, great, let's put in for it. Let's write an exception. Let's do it. I didn't just say, no, you got to be in for a year before you can take leave. Like, I tried for him, and guess what? It got fucking approved. So why did nobody else try that? I don't know. But it's little things like that where when you're really trying to make the connection, this goes all the way back around to like you not having a connection in the very beginning and like having the wall up. We're going full circle here. But bridging that gap that we're all here having the human experience, and it's hard for all of us. And like, to not be so hard on people when they're not up to your standard, or if they're not doing the things the way you want them to, because that's not really what leadership is. Leadership is like the support behind it. Yeah. And I think that that's what supports me being supportive is my magic, is my practice, is my empathetic ways. It's having the tools with me, knowing, it's been really helpful to be able to have numerology and zodiac signs and all of the things, It's
I haven't been the boss of a lot of people. I've been a boss of some people, and probably could have, and I tried to, be empathetic, but I was probably just in the early phases of like, trying to understand that part of myself and, what I could do. And I had one guy that we hired that was just fucking lazy.
Some people, is this the one guy when you were here? Yeah. You were here and he was the new guy and he was back at the other office?
No, he was still when I worked there.
Do you remember that guy? He was like he wasn't a temporary hire. Sorry, we're getting off track. But that fucking guy, he always had all the excuses, and he wanted to do the other thing. He was writing. I think
it was like right before I came, though. I think that you might be thinking. Right? Yeah, he's the writer. He was the writer.
With a J.
And Yes, James.
Okay,
yeah,
James.
He was names. He was very good at. He was very skilled. He was a writer, which we needed.
Yeah.
But he, difficult. It really, he was using us as a stepping stone he was just waiting for retirement. That's all he was doing. And it became clear, but that was difficult. And that was the collaboration, I would say in collaborating now, I'm much more, like I said, I've become like friendly cat.
Listen to her voice change.
Helpful cat. Oh. Just trying to put on this different demeanor of what is kind of like my natural state. And I was just on a call the other day and I was like explaining things to people, and I was very mindful because I'm on the call with new people that I haven't really spent a lot of time with before. And so I'm telling them all these things, or that, because they're trying to understand like the website and stuff like that. Some things are going on with the website that we're going to change. And by the end of it, they're like, that was really helpful. We really got a lot out of this. Thank you so much. And I was like, oh,
did it just make you feel so good?
It did. It made me feel really good, know. And I knew that. I mean, I could almost like I was like almost like outside of myself and watching myself as this whole because I talked through most of it. I was showing them all of these things and explaining to them, and then be like, did I get that right? I feel like I might have, just stuff like that, and keeping it light, but also anyway, it was really good. I felt very good when I got off that call. I was like, I like this new me. So anyway,
we're going
to. So that's the end of it. But really quick, because I haven't ate it. I have a I have a call.
I forgot
I got
about
a call
that.
at 8:00.
Yeah.
So we've got like 9 minutes to wrap this up. But before we go, really quick, you guys know what's been going on with Cameron. So I don't know if you want to give a couple minute up. He's out of the hospital. He came home yesterday.
Day before
yesterday. Yeah. He's out. He's doing a lot better.
Came home on Tuesday.
He's got, what do they call this?
A
PICC line in his arm where you're doing a...
I am Nurse Jayme
Nurse
now.
Jayme, yeah.
I am doing antibiotic infusions at home and administering all of his meds and keeping track of everything. And I'm also his social worker because I'm doing all the appointment stuff and figuring out times and all the things we got to do. It is a lot. It is exhausting. And my kid is super appreciative, so I love that. We're getting to spend a lot of time together. And he's happy again. He's like himself again.
He's on new medication. They've switched his
seizure meds.
Yeah. From what he's been on for like 2.5 years, which was really 4,000 milligrams a day of Keppra, which was really making him unhappy and bitter and angry and just like sour.
His new neurologist calls it the Keppra crazies.
Yeah, it was hard, and it wasn't stopping the seizures, but now so far I don't know how long he's been on this new one, because he was in the hospital for more than 2 weeks.
He's been strictly on the cosamide now for just a month.
Okay.
But we've had to up the dose already because he's had auras.
Yep.
So there is this thing where we're still figuring out what kind of medication mix is going to keep him from having seizures. But we're also very aware that his body is not responding well to the medication. That's why he might have had kidney failure. He also had the inflamed liver. Like, the lung thing is from pneumonia not being treated. And so that's why he had a lung surgery. A couple weeks ago.
So things are looking up.
Things are looking great.
And Jayme told me, she's like, I'm trying not to like wait for the other shoe to drop, anticipate what's the next thing coming, because since the 1st of April when all this happened, it's just been like one thing after another.
Bad news.
So she's like, I'm trying to get a handle on that, but that's where we are. Wanted to give you an update on that. So
super happy to have my kid home and mostly normal. I don't like caretaking. For anybody who's a caretaker knows them, Goddess bless you. It is a hard job. I am not made for it, but I'm doing the best I can. So I have a great appreciation for the healthcare workers, for sure. Better than I ever have. Yeah.
All right. So, in closing, remember, magic doesn't stop at the office door. Whether you're leading meetings or lighting candles, you are the spell.
You are the spell. We are spells in ourselves.
We're the spell.
Every talk, everything we do.
Or the energy that we bring.
And the energy we bring.
It.
Absolutely.
That's basically it. You can change a whole vibe of a whole entire room.
A whole room with just your energy. It's totally possible. So, until next time, stay grounded, stay glowing, and don't forget to enchant the everyday, the normal everyday. Make it enchanting, okay? We love you so much. We want to say we hope you're blessed and that y'all are boss witches too, and we just love you guys. Yeah. So we'll see you next week.
See you next week, witches. Bye.
Bye.